Okay, so next we're going to do it calls for gold embossed tinsel, ordinary way, and then a silver tinsel reverse passing over the gold. So basically what that means is your gold goes at the top, at the bottom, because you're going to wrap it around the bottom of the shank over, and then your silver needs to run from the top and they need to cross in the middle. So you can see I've cut little edges into it, just a little taper, and that's how I'm going to tie it in. So the gold's going to go at the bottom and the silver will be at the top, so when I wrap them they'll cross over. The reason why you cut that little tape is so that when you fold it over it won't leave that like a big fold in the tinsel, and then it'll just wrap nicely flush against the ostrich butt as well. Okay, so I've waxed my thread, because obviously I'm going to cover it up with that layer that's going to go over, so I can get a nice even body. So you can see that's how I'm going to tie it in. So the taper runs down, so I'm just going to tie that in on the side, just 2 wraps, and then I'm going to take my silver and with the taper obviously now to the top, because that's going to go in the opposite direction. So there's my taper facing up, and I'm going to tie that in just above it. And tie down nice and tight. There we go. And now you can wind it up. So now we're going to start building up the taper. Right, so taper. And then this I'm just going to get out the way. Okay, and now all we're going to do is we're just going to run it backwards and forwards. So we're going to go to about there, come back, well, to about there, come back, further, there, a little bit closer. So you're going to get it's called a cigar shape. So you want to get a nice cigar shape. You don't want it too high at the front. You basically want the height to be about there. So when this is done, you'll see what it looks like. Okay, so I've done the body now. So here's the tricky part now. So it calls for 3 equal sections in orange, light blue and pink silk. You also need to make room for your throw tackle. So 3 equal sections. So when we measure it out, so remember what I said, ideally would like to have at least 1 millimeter left over in the front there for it to stick out. I'm going to leave 2 mils for your head, because you're going to tie your feathers on there, your head on there. And then your throw tackle at least 3 mils. So it leaves 6 mils that you want to take off. So there's the black mark. So now you measure up to your black mark. So that gives us about 30 mils. 3 equal sections means 10, 10, 10. Bearing in mind when you wind your throw tackle, it's going to take up a lot of space in the front there. It's going to be bushy, and it's not going to look equal. So what I'd like to do is I start off a little bit smaller at the back, a little bit more in the front, in the middle, and then obviously a lot more in the front section. So I've divided it up into 8 mils at the back, 9 mils, and then 13 mils. So we're going to start with the orange silk, then we're going to go with the light blue, and then the pink silk. Okay, unfortunately I don't have any nice flat proper silk in orange, so I'm just going to use as Danville's. It's 4 strands, very thin. I only use this for tags, but unfortunately, like I said, I don't have. So what I've done is I've tied it in. You'll see the yellow mark, so I've marked where I'm going to do my body section. So I've tied it in, I've wound it a little bit to the back, and then moved my thread out the way, just so when you tie it off, because we're going to want to tie it off at exactly on that mark, it doesn't slip out. So let's see if this works with this Danville stuff. Just careful you don't accidentally nick it on the hook point. Usually I've got a little guard there, because it happens to me quite often, and then you have to redo everything. So far so good. That's why it's very important to burnish your underbody when you've laid down your underbody, just so you don't get any bumps in it. Okay, so this is now where when I brushed my whole head with a spit out, so now you don't entrap anything. So it's right up against there, and move your way forward. And then just have a careful look, see if there's any gaps that you need to fill in. So instead of an edge to edge, maybe it just needs an extra wrap in there just to fill it up. And that is now okay. So now it's on the white part. I'm still not on the yellow line where I need to tie it off. So now I'm on that yellow, on my yellow marking. So now I can tie it off. I'm going to do an extra one, just that's it. Again, edge to edge with your thread wrap, and you tie it off. And I'm slowly going to just move my way to the next section. So now I can cut this off. There's enough for a tag. So I'll save that little piece. And then all I'm going to do is I'm going to move this out the way. Again, edge to edge. Flatten your silk or your thread. Just in front, and we're going to get ready for the next color, which is going to be the light blue. So what I'm going to do next is I'm just going to burnish this off camera, and then you'll see when I'm done. Okay, so there it is, orange, light blue, pink. You can see it's a little bit more in the pink section in the front, a good couple of mils, but remember, like I said, when you wind your throat in now, you're going to actually, when you brush it, it's going to take up quite a bit, and then it'll just cover up a lot of the pink. So it's an optical illusion. So you want them to look equal at least. In the meantime, I've changed my thread now to black, so the rest of the fly will tie in black. This is it for today. I'll do the rest tomorrow. So tomorrow I'll do the ribs and the throat and the wing.